It's time for Show Off, the quick-thinking academic quiz show on CCP TV, the educational channel of Community College of Philadelphia. I'm Jocelyn Circus, Director of Professional Development. Today we have two teams of CCP students competing to show off their knowledge about today's topic, which is music. On Team 1, we have Wasim Al-Mashadani, Jason Rose, and Earl Weeks. And on Team 2, we have Kashian Lee, Stephen Marasco, and Matthew Hall. Welcome. Here's how the game is played. In the first round, I will ask a question directed at both teams. The first person to buzz in with the button in front of them will get to attempt to answer. If their answer is correct, they win a point for their team. If their answer is wrong, their team loses a point, and the other team gets 10 seconds to answer. If they guess correctly, their team earns 1 point, and if they are wrong, they lose a point. They may also pass and neither win nor lose a point. The team with the highest number of points at the end of the game wins. So, are you ready to play Show Off?
Yeah.
Okay, let's begin. Which of the following was not a Baroque composer? Is it A, Ludwig van Beethoven, B, Johann Sebastian Bach, C, George Friedrich Handel, D, Antonio Vivaldi? Team 1, Jason.
A, Ludwig van Beethoven.
That's correct. In music theory, the Baroque period predates the classical and romantic periods. Beethoven is considered to have bridged late classical and early romantic periods. His work includes 9 symphonies, 5 concertos for piano, 32 piano sonatas, and 16 string quartets. Very good, Team 1. Which of the following is not a genre of jazz? Is it A, boogie woogie, B, Dixieland, C, bebop, D, ragtime? Team 1, Jason.
D, ragtime.
That's correct. Very good. Ragtime flourished between 1897 and 1918. It was characterized by a lively, syncopated rhythm. Ragtime is rooted in the dance music of African-American communities in St. Louis and New Orleans, combined with the by then well-established march form. One of the most recognized ragtime songs is Scott Joplin's The Entertainer, popularized by its use as main theme music for the 1970s film The Sting. Next question. John Cage's 433 is unusual and controversial because it A, includes animal sounds, B, requires only one hand on the piano, C, is played silently, D, it includes the sound of the orchestra members gargling water. Team 2, Steve.
The answer would be C, is played silently.
That's correct. Composed in 1952 for any instrument or combination of instruments, the score of 433 instructs the performers not to play their instruments during the entire duration of the piece throughout 3 movements, all listed as tacit or silent. The audience is supposed to listen to the ambient sounds of the performance space. There is no right or wrong way to perform this work. Very good, Team 2. Next question. Who wrote the opera Madame Butterfly? Was it A, Giuseppe Verdi, B, George Friedrich Handel, C, Richard Strauss, or D, Giacomo Puccini? Team 2, Steve.
That would be D, Giacomo Puccini.
That's correct, D. It was Puccini. Puccini was an Italian composer, one of the greatest exponents of operatic realism, who virtually brought the history of Italian opera to an end. His mature operas include La Bohème, Tosca, and Madame Butterfly. Very good, Team 2. Next question. What is the most common vocal range for a male voice? Is it A, the tenor, B, alto, C, baritone, or D, bass?
A tenor.
Oh, that's not correct. I'm sorry. Team 1, you have an opportunity to take the point.
Should we take a guess on it? Do you know?
C baritone.
Would you agree? Yeah? Okay, let's go.
C baritone.
That's correct, the baritone. The baritone voice is the most common male vocal range. It is higher than the bass, but lower than the tenor, and may overlap both. Some baritones of the past are Umberto Urbano and Celestino Sarobe, Jim Morrison from The Doors, and Barry White. Next question. Who wrote a 3-part piano composition named Trois Gymnopédies? Is it A, Eric Satie, B, Tristan Moral, C, Jacques Ibert, D, Jean-Michel Jarre? Team 1, Jason.
A, Eric Satie.
That's correct. That's right, it's Eric Satie. He was a French composer and pianist who referred to himself as a phonometrograph or phonometrician, someone who measures and writes down sounds, preferring this definition of his profession to musician. The Trois Gymnopédies was published in Paris in 1888. These short atmospheric pieces are written in 3/4 time, with each sharing a common theme and structure. We have heard Gymnopédie 1 in some modern movies, including Wes Anderson's The Royal Tenenbaums and the documentary Man on a Wire. Very good. Next question. What musical genre fused jazz with early Jamaican music? Was it A, reggae, B, salsa, C, ska, D, calypso? Team 1, Wasim.
I'm going to go with ska. C, ska.
Very good. It was ska. Ska is a popular music form originating in Jamaica in the 1960s, including elements of rhythm and blues, jazz, and calypso. It is marked by a fast tempo and strongly accented 2nd and 4th beats. Traditional ska bands feature bass, drums, guitars, keyboards, and horns. Saxes, trombones, and trumpets are the most common. Very good, Team 1. Next question. The Four Seasons was written by what composer? Was it A, Johann Sebastian Bach, B, Antonio Vivaldi, C, Tommaso Albinoni, or D, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart? Team 1, Jason.
B, Antonio Vivaldi.
Correct. Very good. Considered a masterpiece, Vivaldi's work is a set of 4 violin concertos that orally depict the nature of the 4 seasons. Each concerto is accompanied by a poem describing the joys of that particular season, beginning with Spring, which is the first movement. It was composed in 1723 and has become one of the most famous pieces of classical music. Very good, Team 1. Next question. A harmonic minor scale is created by raising which degree of a natural minor scale? Is it A, 7th, B, 6th, C, 3rd, or D, 2nd? Team 2, Steve.
That would be the A, the 7th.
That's correct. An example of this is for an A natural minor scale, in which the notes are A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The G will be raised to a G sharp, making the harmonic minor scale of A, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp. Very good, Team 2. Next question. Which musical period followed the classical era? Was it A, Baroque, B, Romantic, C, Modern, D, Renaissance? Team 2, Steve.
That would be B, the Romantic era.
That's right. The Romantic era, which came into full bloom in the 2nd quarter of the 19th century, grew out of the social and political upheavals that followed the French Revolution. This period included composers such as Frédéric Chopin and Franz Liszt. The music of the Romantic era focused on melody as well as rhythm, with both becoming more complex than in the classical period. The music was often inspired by nationalistic folk music and exotic subjects. Well, that's the end of our first round. Very good, contestants. Let's check the score and see how we're doing. Team 1, you're in the lead with 6. Very good. Team 2 trailing behind, but still able to make it up in one of our future rounds. We have 3 points. Very good. Okay, it's still a horse race. Let's find out a little bit more about our contestants. Team 1, Welcome, Wasim Al-Mashadani.
Oh, hi, thank you.
Hi, tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Wasim Al-Mashadani. I'm going to Community College of Philadelphia. I'm not quite sure what I'm going for right now. As far as music's concerned, I played in my high school band. I played the trumpet because they couldn't afford a saxophone. And I also played keyboard in an experimental noise band.
Very good, welcome. In the middle, Captain, we have Jason Rose. Welcome, Jason.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Jason, I understand that you used to host a pub quiz.
That's right. I host a music-themed pub quiz for several years. It was called Rock and Roll High School, and my stage name was Dr. Rock. And we were featured in Spin Magazine and several other publications.
Wow, very good. So maybe you enjoy being a contestant for once.
Yeah, it's fun.
Very good. And on the end, we have Earl Weeks. Welcome, Earl. You told me that you worked as security for the Rolling Stones. What an experience. Tell me about that.
Yes, we worked at a hotel, and we worked in plain clothes. So when people came to ask us what we were doing, we couldn't tell them what we were doing. So we would just make up some other excuse and just keep them going.
But the Rolling Stones were really staying there, right?
Yes.
That's pretty exciting. Very good. Okay, now we're ready for round 2. This second round works the same way as the first, except that a correct answer is now worth 2 points. An incorrect answer is still only cost the team 1 point. Okay then, everyone ready for round 2?
Yeah.
Let's go. First question. The lute was an earlier incarnation of what musical instrument? Was it A, the mandolin, B, the violin, C, the guitar, or D, the harp? Team 2, Steve.
That's C, the guitar.
Very good, Team 2. The lute, a plucked string instrument with a rounded back, was of Middle Eastern origin. It evolved into the modern 6-string guitar of today. The number of strings on a lute can vary. By the end of the 15th century, some lutes had as many as 35 strings. In recent years, there's been increased interest in the lute inspired by virtuosos such as Julian Bream. Very good, Team 2. Next question. What type of 3-movement musical composition features a soloist performing with an orchestra? Is it A, a sonata, B, a concerto, C, a symphony, or D, a suite? Team 1, Jason.
B, concerto.
Very good, it's a concerto. The concerto, an instrumental form based upon the opposition between 2 dissimilar bodies of sound, is often written for violin, piano, or cello, although other instruments have been used as well. The concerto often contains cadenzas, or long unaccompanied sections where the soloist gets to display his skill. The movements are generally a fast movement followed by a slow movement and then a faster movement again. Very good, Team 1. Next question. The relative minor for the key of A major is which of the following? A, D minor, B, B minor, C, F sharp minor, or D, A minor? Team 1, Jason.
C, F sharp minor.
Very good, it's F sharp minor. The relative minor is always the 6th degree of the corresponding major scale. The relative minor also contains the same notes as the major, but begins on the 6th degree. For example, A major is A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, G sharp. And F sharp minor would be written F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D, E. Very good, Team 1. There are how many modes in music? Is it A, 1, B, 3, C, 5, or D, 7? Team 1, Jason.
D, 7.
Very good. The modes are Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. The modes were first developed in Greece. Composers and soloists use modes to add flavor to their compositions or solos and avoid predictability. Very good. Next question. Antonin Dvorak is widely considered to be which of the following countries' greatest composer? Is it A, Hungary, B, Finland, C, Czechoslovakia, or D, Russia? Team 2, Matthew.
The answer is A, hungry.
Oh, that's not correct. Team 1, it's your opportunity to steal the point.
You don't know.
I don't
What's
know.
the sound except
We could
If I had to
pass.
guess, it'd be.
We don't have to guess. We
We
can
could
No,
pass.
yeah, I'm not gonna. I'll pass.
We're just going to pass.
Team 1 passes. The answer is C, Czechoslovakia. Dvorak was born in 1841 in Bohemia, which is now the Czech Republic. An accomplished violinist, he had a fierce love for his country, and his themes were inspired by traditional Czech folk music. Dvorak is perhaps most famous for his New World Symphony, which was composed in 1893 while he was the director of the National Conservatory of Music of America. Neil Armstrong took a recording of the New World Symphony to the moon during the Apollo 11 mission, the first moon landing in 1969. Okay, next question. The 1924 composition Rhapsody in Blue was written by which of the following composers? Was it A, Johann Strauss, B, Aaron Copland, C, George Gershwin, or D, Henry Mancini? Team 2, Steve.
That would be C, George Gershwin.
That's correct. Perhaps his most famous work, Rhapsody in Blue, combines elements of classical with jazz-influenced effects. This piece established Gershwin's reputation as a serious composer and has become one of the most popular American concert works. The first recording of the piece sold 1 million copies. Next question. When a piece of music changes keys, this is referred to as A, modulation, B, counterpoint, C, thematic development, or D, chromaticism. Team 1, Jason.
A, modulation.
That's correct. Composers use modulation to avoid predictability and stray away from strict diatonic writing. Often a piece will begin with a theme presented in one key, which then is repeated, but in a different way. In addition, many pieces will modulate from the major to the relative minor. Very good, Team 1. Next question. Niccolò Paganini composed the majority of his works for which of one of these instruments? Was it A, the piano, B, the cello, C, the guitar, or D, the violin? One, Wasim.
Paganini would be D, the violin.
Very good, that's correct. It was the violin. Born in Genoa, Italy, Paganini is regarded as one of the greatest violin virtuosos who ever lived. He's most famous for his 24 caprices, which is still performed today and profoundly influenced violin technique. Paganini's compositions are known for their great difficulty to play and technical brilliance. Good job, Team 1. Next question. The notes G, B, and D make a G major chord. To make a G major 7th chord, which note must be added to the G triad? Is it A, the E, B, F, C, F sharp, or D, C? 1, Jason.
C, F sharp.
That's correct. Well done, Team 1. The F sharp note must be added because it is the major 7th degree in the key of G. Hence, this creates a G major 7th chord when added to the standard G major. If an F note were added, the chord would be a G dominant 7th chord. Dominant 7th chords differ from major 7th chords because they contain the minor 7th. Good job. Next question. George Friedrich Handel, Johann Sebastian Bach, and Antonio Vivaldi are all composers from which musical period? Was it A, classical, B, Baroque, C, romantic, or D, Renaissance? Team 1, Jason.
B, Baroque.
That's correct. They are Baroque composers. The Baroque period existed from 1600 to 1750. This era followed the Renaissance and was in turn followed by the classical. Baroque music is defined by elaborate instrumental ornamentation, an increased complexity, and an emphasis on advancing playing techniques. Good job, Team 1. Next question. When a triad is in first inversion, which interval is placed as the root of the triad? Is it A, the first, B, the third, C, the 5th, or D, the 7th? Team 1, Jason.
B, the 3rd.
That's correct. When a triad is in first inversion, the 3rd becomes the lowest note of the chord. The 5th and the root of the chord are then stacked above it and sounded higher. For example, a C triad in first inversion would be written as E, G, C, as opposed to C, E, G, as it is written in root position. Well done. Next question. A blank scale is created from a pattern of 2 whole steps followed by a half step, then 3 whole steps followed by a half step. Is that A, a minor, B, a whole tone, C, diminished, or D, major? Team 2, Steve.
That would be D, a major
The
scale.
major, very good, it's the major. The major scale is the most familiar sequence of pitches. A C major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, is placed by striking only the white keys on a piano from one C to another. Many classical and popular melodies have been derived from the major scale. It is sometimes said that music written using a major scale has a happy sound in comparison to one written in a minor scale, although there are a number of notable exceptions. We're at the end of round 2. Let's take a look at the score. Team 1, you're in the lead with 22 points. Team 2, trailing with just 8, but you'll have an opportunity to make it up in our pop culture round. Now, let's find out a little bit more about contestants from Team 2. First, we have Kashion Lee. Welcome. Kashion, I understand that you are in your church choir. Tell me a bit about that.
The church choir is a bit different than a normal choir. One experience that I remember is lead singing the national anthem at the Kimmel Center, which was a little bit nerve-wracking because the Kimmel Center can be quite large.
And the national anthem can be
Yes,
quite difficult to sing.
Different, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. What a great experience. Stephen Marasco. Welcome. I understand that you were in a band called the Serial Killers. Tell me a bit about the Serial Killers.
Yes, actually, I played a character called Dr. Butcher. Sort of like a gore horror, lots of fake blood and stuff like that. We just had a 23rd reunion, actually.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's great. And on the end, we have Matthew Hall. Matthew, tell me a little bit about yourself. I understand that you have experience in jazz performance. You minored in that, but you also have a hobby interest in bread baking.
Yeah, 2 totally separate interests. Jazz performance was a great experience. When I was younger, our instructor was well connected in the music industry and brought in guest performers we got to play with, such as Randy Brecker, Harry Belafonte, David Brubeck. And bread baking is something I do at home now, which is where I stay most of the time.
Wonderful, very good. That sounds like a wonderful experience with a very famous musician. Terrific. Now we're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll begin round 3. Welcome back to Show Off, the quick-thinking academic quiz show on CCP-TV, the educational channel of Community College of Philadelphia. I'm Jocelyn Serkis, Director of Professional Development. I'm sure that you noticed that Team 2 is not on the stage. That's because round 3 is a little different than the 2 previous rounds. Each team will be answering the same questions, so Team 2 is in the isolation right now, so they don't hear the questions in advance. In this round, each team is given 1.5 minutes to answer up to 10 questions. After hearing the question, they'll discuss an answer among themselves, and the captain of the team, in this case Jason, will give the answer. If they're correct, the team earns 1 point. There is no penalty for a wrong answer, and they may choose not to answer the question by passing. Okay, Team 1, are you ready to show off?
Yeah.
Here we go. Which singer has songs entitled White Wedding and Rebel Yell?
Billy Idol. Billy Idol.
Billy Idol. Grandma got run over by a what?
Reindeer.
Very good, a reindeer. Which popular advertising mascot was retired in July of 1997 due to pressure from the federal government?
Joe Camel. Joe Camel.
Very good, Joe Camel. What is the combination to the briefcase in Pulp Fiction?
A white light.
666. What is the first rule of Fight Club?
Don't talk about Fight Club.
Don't talk about Fight Club. What is the name of the paper company on the TV show The Office?
Dunder Mifflin. Dunder Mifflin.
Dunder Mifflin, correct. Silly Rabbit, tricks are
For kids.
For kids.
That's correct. What is Ginger Spice's real name?
Jerry Holloway. Jerry Holloway.
No, it's Hollowell. Which Righteous Brothers song was featured in the movie Ghost?
Unchained Melody.
That's correct, Unchained Melody. Which candy melts in your mouth, not in your hands?
Yes.
M&Ms.
You got it. Very good. Well done. Well done, Team 1. Let's see. How many points did Team 1 earn? The score is now 30 points for Team 1. When we come back, Team 2 will be joining us. Okay, Team 2, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
We're ready.
Ready to show off. Which singer has songs entitled White Wedding and Rebel Yell?
Billy Idol.
Correct. Grandma got run over by a what?
Reindeer.
That's right. Which popular advertising mascot was retired in July of 1997 due to pressure from the federal government?
I'm going to say the Zip, the post office guy.
It was Joe Camel. What is the combination to the briefcase in Pulp Fiction?
I do not know.
We're going to pass on that.
With 666. What is the first rule of Fight Club?
Don't talk about Fight Club.
That's correct. What is the name of the paper company on the TV show The Office?
Dunder Mifflin.
That would be Dunder Mifflin.
Correct, Dunder Mifflin. Silly rabbit tricks are for whom?
Oh, kids.
That's right. What is Ginger Spice's real name?
That's Victoria. That's not Victoria Beckham, is it?
Oh,
Victoria Beckham was Posh Spice.
Right. Ginger. Nope. We'll pass on that.
That was Jerry Halliwell. Which Righteous Brothers song was featured in the movie Ghost?
Unchained Melody.
That's right, the Unchained Melody.
Correct. Which candy melts in your mouth, not in your hands?
That would be M&M's.
Very good, Team 2. So now the score is Team 1 with 30 points, Team 2 trailing with 15. Now we're ready for the show-off showdown. In this last round, each team has wagered an amount of their current point total on getting a correct answer. If their answer is correct, the wager is added to their current point total. If they're wrong, the number is subtracted. Each team will have 30 seconds to discuss and come up with the correct answer. Okay then, let's go. Here's the show-off showdown question. Everyone has heard the operatic excerpt in which a singer repeats, Figaro, Figaro, Figaro. What opera did this come from? 30 seconds. Okay, time's up. Team 2, let's ask you first. You're trailing behind. Let's see how you did.
All right, we wagered 15 points and we said The Marriage of Figaro.
That's not correct, unfortunately. You go down to 0 points. Team 2, I'm sorry,
Professor
Team
Ross is
1.
gonna kill me.
Team 1, let's see if you got the answer correct.
We're both dead. Sorry, Professor Ross.
That is incorrect. The correct answer is The Barber of Seville.
Oh, I was going to say that too. I didn't know. Oh.
Team 1, you're the winner with 29 points. Congratulations, Team 1. Thanks to both teams for playing Show Off, the quick thinking academic quiz show on CCTV, the educational channel of Community College of Philadelphia. I'm Jocelyn Circus, Director of Professional Development. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Yeah.